Push the button. There you go.
Oh no.
Here we are. Elsa's now cut us off twice, even though it's really not doing anything outside at all. At all. It's just out there. But carry on with your critical race theory, wherever the hell you are. I don't remember, but
Yeah. So first we got critical race theory on your public school systems, teaching kids to be hateful, to be racist, to hate the country, thinking that America was founded in racism. That was all, our forefathers cared about, basically. I think that's not founded in freedom at all. So we've got that problem going on. Then to compound that, they're adding on this, progressive sex education, where some schools, I was watching Pat Gray this morning talking about schools in Chicago, I think he said it was Chicago, are going to be providing condoms for free to students as well as young as fifth grade. So well as to prevent unwanted pregnancies. You got a lot of 10 and 11-year-olds running around with unwanted pregnancies in your city. If so, you have a much larger problem than the availability of condoms. Got news for you. We did not have condoms available to us in elementary school. We didn't have any unwanted pregnancies then either. We also didn't have very many of them in middle school. It wasn't until high school when we had a couple. And then guess what? There were free condoms available in the nurses' station.
it's just
Just saying.
doing all that gender stuff and sex ed to elementary school kids. Yeah, that's
it's absolutely ridiculous. They're teaching them about masturbation and like it's a good thing, which, if any of them actually go to church and learn that it's a bad thing, well, doesn't matter what your parents are teaching you, doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are, the school's going to teach you what's good.
Yep.
They're teaching about all the, non-science based 150 whatever different genders of, classes teaching about polyamory, like that's a good thing.
The only good polyamor anything I know is the Breaking Benjamin album, Polyamorous. That was a good album.
You're teaching them all kinds of ridiculously, just things that the school does not have the right to teach them about. Things they should be learning about at home, on their own. Whether they choose to be monogamous or have multiple partners is not something that the school is going to decide for them. The school should have nothing to do with that. Whether they're gay, straight, or bi, they have to figure that out on their own. The school should have anything to do with that. And then they're teaching about shit I hadn't even heard of yet, like this demi thing. I don't know what the hell that is.
I have no idea.
Trigender? What the trigender?
I watched Kindergarten Cop enough times. That little kid summed it up.
Yeah. Yes.
Creepy little kid.
Girls have a vagina. Very, very clearly put by the 60-year-old.
Yeah, it's true though. Yeah, they're just that whole Netflix thing. They're sexualizing the children.
Beauties. Oh my God. The fact that I'm sorry, but Netflix should have been shut down for that. That's child pornography. And it's okay, it's fine. It's really soft core, so it's okay.
We're not showing people. We're showing people the risk that the kids are in by putting lots of kids at risk.
Exactly.
On a worldwide scale. Now she vanished. Now she's back. Tell them to fuck off. But yeah, the public schooling system has got to be the downfall of the whole thing. I'm pretty sure Einstein talked about that. Yeah, no one's smart. No one can think on their own. They're not taught to think on their own. They're taught exactly what to think, how to think, and when to think it.
Exactly. That's another reason why I said it was good thing we were raised the way we were by our mother, because we'd ask a question and she'd be like, "Here's the encyclopedia. Look it up." She taught us to research and to get our own information and to think for ourselves. She never taught us this is the way you think, this is the way you behave, you do this. We're not indoctrinated in any one way of thinking. We're taught to think critically.
Never. That's what gets me in trouble.
Ourselves to research, to do our own, our own thinking, our own research.
Hey, and that all comes back to the one that's the last thing I remember Sammy saying when she still lived here before, yeah, it's not that you always think you're right, Jesse. It's that you always end up being right. Michael, that's because I observe and I think before I speak or do anything. Like, I'm not going to make myself look like an asshole.
We observe, we gather all the details, we actually do research, we make sure that we know what the hell we're saying before we open our mouths, because that's how we were raised, is to do our own research, to think for ourselves, to have a brain. We're not taught to be parrots. Everybody else being raised to just repeat whatever they're told and be parrots. That's not how we were raised.
Asshole. Asshole. I guess you are all assholes. It's an amazing thing. I mean, at least we're seeing people like everyone's favorite governor. Everyone. If you're a conservative, you love him. If you're a lefty, he's the only governor that comes out of your damn mouth, except for when you're praising in Governor Cuomo somehow, or Gavin Newsom. That Ron DeSantis guy, no matter what, everyone is talking about him. Now we're going to teach our kids to actually think. We're not going to indoctrinate them to hate America and all this bullshit. Like, like he gets done talking, he gets standing ovations. Shit, Trump doesn't even get standing ovations.
Yeah, DeSantis just tells it like it is, man. He doesn't pull any punches at all. You know, it's fantastic. And the left hates him so much. Like that building collapse, totally, like that should not be a partisan issue in any way, shape, or form. It's a tragedy. We should all be praying for the victims and hoping that, at least some of the people who are still missing are found alive,
Figure out what the happened in the first place.
Exactly. There's some people say they had reports that the structural damage was, the underlying damage was there way in advance. They could have done something about it. They're denying it. What's the truth? Investigating that. That
Somewhere
should be
in the
what
middle.
matters. But of course, you see the leftist media try to turn it into a freaking political issue. They immediately jumped on, they tried claiming that DeSantis blocked efforts to get FEMA on scene. Well, according to the governor of Miami, or not the governor, the mayor of Miami, according to the mayor of Miami, the governor was there by their sides from the beginning and helped them get FEMA there. That's what the mayor of Miami, the very leftist mayor of Miami, said, no, Governor DeSantis was great. His office was with us great from the start. We got FEMA there.
And he said very good things about DeSantis and the way they ran the state when it came to COVID. He was very, very good. I heard many interviews, even with like Tucker. If he's saying nice things to Tucker, then goddamn. And that, well, because we had a good nest egg and we didn't completely shut the whole world down, we only lost $1 million for the entire year.
Yeah. Isn't bad
because we're not run by complete idiots. So we're not billions in the hole. And we still have lots of rainy day funds just sitting there waiting to be used. Yeah. And guess what, people? It's Florida on the water. I mean, all of that water and stuff shifting underneath them right on the coast, I guarantee you caused a lot of issues in that building. There's a lot of issues with a lot of buildings, especially older ones. Andrew, ring a bell?
Yeah. Oh, and then, of course, they're trying to blame that on global warming. When saying it was DeSantis's fault, that DeSantis didn't, do anything about it, wouldn't get FEMA in there, and that's why people are dying, didn't work because,
obviously,
the mayor said no, he was there. Their next thing was, well, the building collapse is caused by global warming that's causing the destruction of our beaches. Are you?
I don't want to be a dick, but there's lots of scientists I've seen in lots of like major actual universities and all these places. Yeah, I know, who do we trust there? But even people that work like there's lots of them that say, one, doesn't matter what the hell we do, we're not making a difference in global warming. Like, we're not going to change it. Two, these super the storms getting worse and that has nothing to do with global warming at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen them. I've seen lots of them say that.
Because the building was not taken down by a superstorm, it has underlying structural damage, according to the reports. They're coming out saying, they already knew about this damage and they should have done something about it sooner. If it had underlying structural damage already, guess what? That's not global warming. That's people not fixing their building.
No, I mean, that's the main basic common sense stuff to us. But again, we didn't drop out of high school to be a dishwasher and then get fired 10 minutes later. So we're not on the same, shots fired. So we actually have the ability to use our fucking brains and think on our critically. We can critically think. Critically. Like let's see, there's all these hurricanes for decades. There's already structural damage. Ergo, it couldn't be global warming or the governor. It's people that run the damn building, because the governor isn't running any of that stuff. So how about we go to the people that knew there were damage and the owners and go after them, because it's actually their fault. Structural engineers who said there's damage and did nothing about it, it's on them.
I mean, obviously, I know that people are denying that they got the reports, but it's like, well, are you just saying that because you know, if you really dig at the reports and you knew that's like lawsuit of like the major
cataclysmic?
Because I've got news for you. You're getting sued either way. Either way, that building's maintenance was your responsibility. You clearly done stuff.
Should have done something.
And we got between the dead people and I'm sure the missing people by now, if they are still alive, probably have injuries. There's a reason they haven't found their way out yet, or called out so the surgeons can find them. Yeah, you're getting sued.
In a big way.
By your knowledge or not, it's happening. And the other building down the street that's like the same tower, like number 2 or whatever, the same design that they're swearing is fine. Are you sure about that? Get it checked out, because if it's not,
you're screwed.
No,
screw it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like you're global warming.
Yeah. Let's blame global warming. Like they had reports of the structural damage ahead of time. They should have been able to stop it. And again, why are we trying to make this anything political? Like, well, let's make it global warming so it supports this leftist cause. No, it doesn't have to support a leftist cause. It doesn't have to support anything on left or right. It is a freaking tragedy that affects. We don't know who the people in that building, if they're leftist or rightist, right, centrist. We don't know, and it doesn't matter. They're American.
Big thing.
This is one of those things where we should unite about it and recognize this is a tragedy and come together to pray for the well-being of the people who are still missing, to pray for the families of those that we've lost, And instead, it's let's try to make it political. Let's try to blame DeSantis. Let's try to make bring up global warming as a leftist issue, talking point, whatever. Why can't
this is just a tragedy?
Get aside the politics.
That just miserable smirk on his face, like this is just a tragedy. You fuckheads.
Mm-hmm.
Dear God. Whew, I think Trump's bad.
Yeah.
DeSantis is just as bad.
Yeah.
Like, you can all go yourselves.
Well,
you're getting it on to these people first.
Like it is, and
turns out you're doing vaccinations to these people first, like because you're like when they do it with the Publix or whatever. Like, actually stupid. We had it in all these places first. They were just the first ones that were ready to go. That's why they got it. All these other places are now online and falling in line with them. And we're going to get more stuff to them. But these are the first ones to be ready. So that's why they got it first. Deal with it. And you're sitting there going, or when he did the whole social media thing you recently did. Yeah. No, you're doing it because Trump's your friend. He's all banned on there. Like, actually stupid. I mean, it's pretty much what
in our constitutional rights.
Actually, I'm pretty. So does it? Well, could it help him? Yeah, but you're sitting there. And then he's like, what governor gets done asking, answering a reporter's question and gets a standing ovation from the whole room? Like, no, you. I don't know how any liberals are fleeing the state of Florida. Right, the place is getting packed with conservatives. Do yourself a favor. Run. That state is very, very red.
There were some brain cells.
But I love that guy.
Do it.
I love Ron DeSantis, though. Moral of the story: listen to some of his press conferences when he's getting questioned by idiots. Oh my God!
He doesn't take crap off of them at all.
He's like, actually, you're full of shit. Like,
Exactly.
you heard me. Matter of fact, you're an idiot. You heard me. Okay. Easy there, Ron.
Like, you know,
Welcome.
he could probably like write a book, 101 ways to tell somebody to go F themselves politely. I've used all of these in my press conferences.
That was the wind. Okay, I did hear that right. Heard it over the headphones and you talking. I'll give you that. That's a wind gust. I can't hear nothing over these normally except for Daisy.
No, Daisy's loud.
I can hear Daisy when she's out in the backyard and I'm in here, doors closed, headphones on, like millions of years between us.
You know, like when you had her out before we started recording, and I can still hear her.
At least that time I was out there with you, though. Thank God. But yeah, at least DeSantis is one of the few guys standing up for all of it, though. I think there's so much idiocy, critical race theory, that whole sex ed thing. Get like you realize the more you
Not
guys,
happening in his schools.
yeah, the more they have pushed all this, sex ed stuff, critical race, and all this confusing stuff, giving like first graders all these like all that, like you realize that adolescent suicide is skyrocketing, right?
Yeah.
Because you're already
They're
confused
claiming
enough
that
at
this
those
stuff-
age.
Yeah.
Now you're really
They're
confused.
claiming they're teaching this stuff to bring down the suicide rate because, they want all these confused kids to feel accepted so they can be themselves. Like, no, you're just confusing them more. Like, when you were growing up, it's very simple. You were either gay, straight, or bi. And you were either a boy or a girl. Very simple. And boy or girl was not a choice. It was, you were born that way.
Deal with it.
Very few people who actually switched went through a whole psychological process. They went through psyche eval to make sure it was the right decision for them, and they weren't legally allowed to make that decision until they were adults and had fully functioning brains. Your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old. You cannot be making decisions that are life-altering at the age of 8.
Yep. And then when your brain fully develops, you're screwed.
You remember
if it's too late.
8-year-old me? Look at me now. Do you think we have anything in common?
I don't remember 8-year-old me.
8-year-old me.
I had big
wearing
glasses.
Flower dresses and crying if you threw a pillow at me. Versus now me.
I was
Nothing in common.
I had really big glasses.
You did.
Really big. Terrible clothing.
Like Urkel style.
Didn't match. Went to lots of NASCAR races.
You did enjoy those.
Was an emotional wreck. Look at me now. Sasquatchian. Very angry.
You had like that super, super light blonde hair when you were little too.
But yeah, like it's going up. Like and then last year it kept going up. Oh, well, the science says you need to keep the kids out of school. Science says that we're losing like a whole generation of kids hanging themselves and starting shotguns.
Because
it's not a fun joke to make.
They weren't getting social interaction. They were feeling isolated, and then they're pushing all this confusing, multiple gender freaking crap at them.
Multiple gender, critical race theory. You're all racist, like all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Telling all white kids you're racist. Even if you're not, you are.
And guess what? I'm racist against stupid people. The world's going. Can I just make?
If stupid was a race, then we would do it.
Yes, can we go and do that? I mean, you can identify as whatever the hell you want. Can I just identify that all people I hate that are stupid, that are all stupid? It's all like people that have no common sense and can't like walk and chew bubblegum. Those kind of people. But just fall for all this stuff. Like, can we just make stupid a race? I mean, everything else is now. Everything's a race and sexual preference. Like you can be in love with. You can be like you could. What's the worship a toaster as your god, and that's a real thing, people. Like, so can we just make stupid people all one race? What, you're all just idiots? Go away. Go to land.
You read stuff about like on the gender stuff when they're talking about, they claim that it's backed by science, not science. No, it's so funny because like they'll talk about how gender and sex are different things and talk about biological sex as being separate from gender. Like, okay, so you recognize biological sex scientifically, and yet when it comes to like athletics, you don't recognize it anymore.
Nope, not
That's
at
no
all,
longer
actually.
a thing. Like the science behind it just disappears. We talk about sports, and then they, but we're the anti-science ones. And then
Amazing, isn't it?
they when they talk about all these different genders based on science, then like you actually read articles where they're talking about what determines all these different things. None of it is science. Like what article I was reading, it legitimately said, like it went through like all the stereotypes. And it was like, women are supposed to have long hair, but what if you prefer to keep yours short? I kept mine short for years. I'm still female.
Yeah, I'm one of those
Hey,
crazy people.
how long was her hair? Like half shaved with like this little length on the top. And it was still a perfectly feminine style. She still looked female. She still was female, identified female. Look at Sharon Osbourne's hair. It's not long. It's been long as I've been alive. She's still female.
I have.
Look at how many males have long hair. I mean, you're growing yours out to donate to Lost of Love. But then you look at Ozzy Osbourne's long hair forever. Right. Look at all the hair bands from the 80s. Like everybody does what they want with their hair. Okay, their hair does not determine your freaking gender. Okay, and then like the next sentence about the women are supposed to have large breasts. What if your breasts don't develop? Still female, okay? Might be part of the itty bitty titty committee, but I am still female. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I haven't heard that one in a while. The last person I heard that come out of their mouth was Brooke.
It's just absolutely ridiculous when the things that they determine. Because women are supposed to like to wear dresses. I am so anti-dress that my boyfriend, when invited me to an event in November, actually said, "You might have to wear a dress." Like I would do that as a bad thing.
You might have to wear it's like you might have to wear a dress. Well, then I'm not going.
Yeah, well, that's kind of more or less what he was expecting to hear from me. He was
deal with it.
Yeah, you have to wear a dress. Oh, then I'm not going. But I was like, look, I do have a closet of dresses, just I prefer jeans.
Man,
I do have dresses. I own them.
I get so dressed up all the time that Meg's only stipulation for the wedding was like, you're not allowed to wear basketball shorts. It's like, but if they have pockets, they count as proper, appropriate civilian attire in the Marine Corps. So that means I could wear them to a wedding if I really wanted to. Put on pants, I'll die. Put on jeans, like I will die. Thank you, people. I will fall over dead. I will stroke out. You know how much I was sweating right now? It's like 73, 74 in here. Comfy as can be. Stroking out right now. Think about me. And this is with like, it's not like I'm covered up anywhere. Like
my apartment is put at 68 degrees at all times.
You can right off of that.
Central air. Beautiful. Most of the time I'm in a hoodie. I live in hoodies.
I have central air, and it runs around the clock trying to keep everything at 74 because it's so hot outside.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting outside. Well, not so much today because it's been raining and cloudy. We're only in like the low 70s, but like the last few days we've been hitting the 90s plus. Bad. But then I open my front door when I get home from work. I feel the cold air hit me, and I'm like,
yeah. Whenever I think it's too hot in here, I go outside for 2 or 3 minutes. Just got the IQ of fruit. No offense to you, Daisy.
Everything that moves.
Like it's breathing. Like I'm not even that mean. And I have lots of reasons to be mean. Don't do that near the door. Go to the other door. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them for you to choose from. Go find one of them. But yeah, 70, like I'm gonna have to spend thousands of dollars probably to get the HVAC system to put more vents in this mother. because there's only one in the dining room and one in my living room, and you've seen how big that area is.
Yeah.
One.
I don't have a lot of vents, but it works good anyway. Like, I have one in here, I have one in each bedroom. I have more vents upstairs than downstairs. I have one in each bedroom and one in the bathroom. Upstairs.
I have 7 in the entire house. 7.
Downstairs, I've got one in the kitchen, in the half bath. Like, of all places, in the half bath. Like, if I shut the door to the half bath so I can open my refrigerator, I'm blocking in the air. And that's all I have for the entire downstairs. For the living room and kitchen. I have one downstairs.
I like.
Floor has 3. Downstairs, I have 1.
1,800 square feet. I have 7 vents. 7. Like, you've seen the size of my living area, that open space. 2 vents. Do the whole thing. 2.
Yes, that's basically it. Because when you think about just slightly, my space is slightly smaller than yours downstairs.
And I have the giant ceiling. Don't worry, the heat doesn't rise.
Your ceilings are higher.
So I have 2 vents, and we're trying to fight against that. Thanks a lot. See, that's actually science. When you only have 2 vents blowing cold air, the hot air just stays everywhere because there's not enough anything to make it cold. Thanks for that, sides. Communist piece of shit. Probably is too. Probably is. But yeah, back to real things. God, that pissed me off. We can get to the transgender woman that's doing the powerlifting for whatever country that is, that, competed as a man but couldn't win anything, and now she's going out there and just killing it on the female team because she's a man.
But if an actual female was taking testosterone used to performance, she'd be disqualified. But someone who has had a natural flow of testosterone well above that of a woman her entire life can compete as a woman, and she's not cheating at all.
Hey, went over it yesterday. Check that one out. I was on fire. I was on big fire. I was ablazing. Not to be confused with The Blaze. Don't want to get sued over that shit.
Hey, Glenn's on vacation here.
See, but and Megan Rapinoe, I hate her.
Oh my God.
I've always hated her, but she was fighting all those years for women's rights, and now completely being on that person's side for being on the women's team when they're
It's the opposite of women's rights.
And she's now the spokesperson for Victoria's Secret, and they dropped the Angels. It's gonna be really exciting 1 year from now.
Got rid of my gorgeous, sexy Brazilian that I would totally
just wait.
Just
wait. Give it a year-ish. How bad do you think Victoria's Secret's gonna be financially when they just pissed off over half the country? Because Megan Rapinoe is just talking shit about the country and misogynistic asshole men like we all are, and they don't have enough rights. They found the one firecracker that everyone hates to be, and they took away the Angels.
Yeah, and they try to say they're taking away the Angels because they're not like realistic looking women, and they want to represent more realistic women. I'm sorry, but no woman goes into Victoria's Secrets wanting to look realistic. Okay.
That's why you go in there.
If I'm paying $75 or more for one freaking set, my goal is to look way hotter than I think I'm capable of looking. Otherwise, I'd go to fucking Walmart. Okay, not Walmart, I hate Walmart, but Target, Gabe, somewhere cheap.
Target? You say Target for cheap?
The Massimo brand's really not bad.
Hello? Is this thing on?
Compared to Victoria's Secrets? Compared to Victoria's Secrets, buy Massimo brand.
Everything's cheaper than Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was just trying to look for average stuff that I would look average in, I would shop at an average place.
So does that mean all supermodels are going to be gone then?
$75+ on a set. My goal is to look beyond my usual hotness, and a model who looks way hotter than me wearing it might be what makes me think, hey, maybe that'll work.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Puts it in your head, puts positive vibes in your head, man.
Exactly. When that model's rocking the look that I want to have when I put this on, it makes me want to buy it. When that model is Megan Rapinoe, it makes me want to run the opposite direction. Like, nobody wants to see that in a bra and panties. So you don't.
Makes me want to light things on fire.
Please.
Not even because of what she looks like, but just because she is a garbage human being. Like, she's like if misogyny, like male misogyny, like, have you looked at how you have been talking about men in general for how many years now?
That's what I don't get about these. So I would say there's feminists and feminazis. They're two different categories. Feminists actually just want women to be treated equally and fairly, and feminazis,
they're slightly crazy,
men.
But yeah, they're not full-fledged. They're pretty crazy, normal feminists, but they're not full-fledged psychopaths.
Yeah, like
feminazis
they don't just want to support women. They hate men, and
they're Planet X. They're way out there.
Exactly. They don't want female equality of men. They want female superiority to men. Like, some of them are so nuts. Like, if they had it their way, men would be like just for breeding, and we keep them on farms or something. Like, they're like psycho. And when I see women leading in that direction, it's like, dude, no.
The best thing is, like, they're doing all that for men, but then men suddenly say they identify as a woman, and suddenly they're in the club.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I'll let you just say we identify. You know, they don't actually have to go through the surgeries or the hormone treatments or anything. All they do is say they identify as female and put on a dress, and all of a sudden, oh, welcome to the club. We love you. You're female.
Hey, and by the way, world,
that's not how that works.
I've met some people that are transgender. I have nothing against them.
Yeah,
at all. Them competing in female sports like powerlifting of all things, when they're still biologically a man with all that testosterone. I'm sorry, there's not a snowflake's chance in hell that even if they stop their testosterone, that a female not on any, like, her whole life, like, they're gonna outdo her by a million. Like, it's just scientifically proven. Like,
I know, like, we have two locally, like, live locally, trans females that are
didn't know that.
Absolutely wonderful people, and I love them. And the one of them is so funny. We'll even like have the same clothes after having kid, like walking in the store. Hey, we're in the same shoes, you know. And like, this person, when before the transition, back when she was still, you know, a he, would come in the diner, head down, so quiet. You didn't even know that they were there. Like, practically a non-person. And as they went through the transition,
like me while I was married,
more and more social, more and more bubbly, more and more coming out of their skin, and just, you know, now she's like the life of the party everywhere she goes. She's fabulous. I love her. She's a firefighter, and you know, that's awesome. You know,
not to be confused with the firebrand.
If I had to compete with her in an athletic event, I would be screwed. She's the size of a linebacker. Like, there's a hormone treatment side of, you know, she's got like that tip, she's got that form kind of a little bit going on, more so. Like, her body looks more feminine than it did. Still huge, big frame, big muscles. Still could not compete on an athletic level if my life depended on it. Okay.
Unless you started taking PEDs, and then still good luck.
Exactly. You know, it's, you know, I have nothing against transgender people. I adore them, but they need to get their own sports leagues.
They have their own everything.
If they don't get their own sports leagues, they are never going to be playing on an even playing field.
Ever.
The only way that they're going to be on a fair playing field is to have their own leagues.
Like the example.
There's nothing wrong with doing that. Women had to do that. When women wanted to get into athletics,
had to make their own things.
Compete against men, they had to make their own league. Well, here you go, transgender people. Now it's your turn.
Give them the fair equal. There you go. Everyone's at that level. It's all even. My great example is the MMA fighter in the UFC that's transgender woman. That's literally fractured, 3 straight opponents' orbital sockets?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why, because she's a brick shithouse. Because the female's muscle structure and density, bone density, all of that is 1,000,000 times different between the two, which is why.
Exactly, which is why, you know,
orbital sockets are a bad thing to break.
You identify as, when it comes to athletics, your biological sex matters. It's just science. And the fact that they are like,
I know I'm
oh,
anti-science. I know.
science, until you point that out, then they're like, oh no, that's you're anti-science. That's not scientific. You're wrong. No, that's science. I'm sorry, it's biology. Yeah, you've been being taught this stuff since the 5th grade. I don't think that's
Like,
difficult to understand.
Like, how many times I've been yelled at stuff for like it's just like I just don't get it. Like people like legit argue with me.
And like you look at like Caitlyn Jenner.
Hey,
When back in the day when she was a he named Bruce, I know that's a dead dating has to bring up. I don't know how else to talk about her past. Was
Olympic
an
athlete.
Olympic athlete, won medals.
Came out and
Knows
said
a thing or two about the physical abilities
and came out
that
and
she had
said
as a he.
that they should be in their own sports because there's it's nowhere near close to fair.
Yeah, it's a question of fairness. That's why I oppose biological boys who are trans competing in girls' sports in school. It isn't fair, and we have to protect girls' sports in our schools. That's the exact quote. And yeah, who knows better? She was a he and was in athletics. Now she's a she, and she knows what difference the hormone treatments did or did not make to her own body. She understands how it works.
She was like,
and she's saying it's not fair. And then people try saying that she's being hypocritical.
And she's transphobic. She's transphobic.
She's transphobic.
Thanks, Sarah Silverman.
Thank
you, Sarah
she doesn't
Silverman.
represent the trans community. And they're saying she's hypocritical supposedly in April of 2020 on Outsports podcast, the Transporter Room. She supposedly said the opposite. But what she actually said, I think every trans person, if they're into athletics, should have an opportunity to compete and to improve themselves. I think sports is such a great way to learn a lot about yourself. Hopefully, they have the opportunity in the future to do whatever they can do. I'm all for it. Anywhere in that, did she say they should be competing against people of any specific gender at all?
Nope.
Like, there's no reason that is not the opposite of what she said. She says they should have the opportunity. Well, if they had a league of their own, they'd have the opportunity and it would be fair. She's not saying they shouldn't play sports.
She's just on fairness.
Exactly. It's all about fairness. It's all about biological boys should not compete against biological females. She did not say that trans people should not play sports.
At all.
That's the opposite of what she said there at all. She's not being a hypocrite. She just wants fairness.
Yep.
But the whole trans community turned on her.
Oh, duh, because she's a conservative.
Exactly. You can't be conservative and be trans. That's just wrong. Their brains can't wrap around it.
I don't know why I lean in like the microphone's still here. So here, let's do this. That's because she's a conservative. For those not listening, for those not paying attention, this is not on, but that's because out of everybody from that whole entire fucking waste of space family, she's actually the only one that has a goddamn brain.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, look at all the other men that were in the family. I mean, I don't know. Look at Lamar. He ended up overdosing in a whorehouse and being all screwed up. There's one. The other guy, Scott, I think his name, alcoholic, Kanye. Thank God for Kanye. He was the only one that came into the family already out of his fucking mind. Thank you, Kanye. Put that in front of the microphone too. Thank you, Kanye, for already being bat shit crazy before he ever got involved with Kim. Thank you. Ask Taylor Swift. Yeah, she gets a Swift. I like to give her, every time she comes on, I give the radio or whoever's listening to whoever a nice Swift finger poke to make it go away. It's a nice swift kick in the ass, but I can't do that to a radio or a phone. But Caitlyn Jenner's like, I don't know. I like her. I think she's, but her policies, like
fantastic.
Her policies make sense.
Exactly. She actually uses her brain, and He understands biology and science. Like,
Hey, she understands a
all
lot
trans
more than
people
that, though.
actually use their brains like she does,
Hey, she understands so much more, though. I mean, look at it. Look at forest conservation. I was trying to find the proper word. The forest. The first thing that came to mind: cocksucker, 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 cocksucker. Conservation. Yeah.
That's
Like,
what it is.
why do you like? Unlike Drew, who puts it all on global warming, like the left of the lefties, why everything's burning down. Here's a fun story. When you live in climates like that, where stuff like that is common, want to know why the rest of the country isn't burning the down with all of this all the time, every year, where they lose thousands of acres? Oh, wait. Because they cut paths through the goddamn forest and they maintain all the stuff. So there's something called a fire break. Not just thousands and thousands of acres just going up like a in Christmas tree because you don't do a goddamn thing about it. You just blame all those bad people that don't believe in global warming. It's all their fault. No, it's actually because you guys have, you ever hear like building, again, put roads between like the forest, cut them down so they don't burn, get rid of shrubs, do controlled burns. Don't just leave thousands of acres of just tinder ready to go up like a son of a bitch.
Remember when Trump said that he was crazy and anti-science, he didn't know what he was talking about, but now that he's out of office, all of a sudden California is allocating millions of funds to doing that because, obviously it's the way to fix the problem.
It's amazing when someone gets recalled and suddenly this person's saying, "What we really need to do this," and you're going, "Oh shit, that makes sense. Damn it, we're gonna lose." Yeah, like suddenly, boom, funds. What? Do it. I don't know. Why the hell have you been for the last, 20 years? Like when you lose over 1,000 acres a year, houses, vineyards. I mean, last year was it last year? It was last year that burned down part of Sonoma, right? Took out like
that one of the ones
2
that
years
was
ago.
caused by one of those gender reveal parties.
I believe that was the one that caused by a gender reveal party. Good job, people.
Yeah.
Can't just give people.
They don't want us to gender our children. Gender reveal parties are burning down the forest.
I don't know if you know this or not. There's like, cupcakes. Someone can, like the. Yeah. I don't know. You could get like a big thing full of the garbage bag, like they want full of balloons, so no one can open the door. Open like there's lots of things you can do besides pyrotechnics when you live in probably the worst place in the entire country when it comes to forest fires. Yeah. It's amazing. Everywhere is warmer. Why are there places that get less rain than California? Not burning to the ground every year. That's not a global warming problem. That's a fucking idiot problem. Mm-hmm. That's a not giving a damn problem. That's a let's just blame it on this. Why? Because we'll keep pushing our radical agenda because people are stupid.
Well, that's all it is. That's all they want to do. They want to keep pushing their freaking global warming bullcrap.
And then people like
so many scientists have come out and called bullcrap on, and they're still like, nope, it's a thing, And
people like Drew. That's going to be the Drew microphone now. I'm going to write his name on it. This one's for you, Drew, who believes all the bullshit that he's fed. Because Drew dropped out of high school to be a dishwasher. This is just shit on Drew Day. Screw it. Don't care. I've argued with him for 2 years about it all. Like what? Why am I not burning to the ground? Why? Because we have a rain season during the winter, but there's a long stretch where we don't get water at all. And we're not burning to the ground all the time. Pennsylvania has lots of dry stuff, and your winters are more mild until this most recent one.
Yeah, we
don't see y'all burning to the ground all the time.
Yeah.
Look at all these places that have droughts.
Yeah, we've lived through multiple droughts here. I even remember one year, like when I was a kid, that garden that me and Dad started, that wound up dying the 1 year because we had a really nasty drought season.
And we only had one fire.
Catch fire.
We only had one fire, I remember, and I'm pretty sure that was a guy throwing a cigarette, but when 437 went to the ground, just part of 437 burnt to the ground. It was pretty much like once you hit the tunnel, like go towards town until like berries Lane. That's Barry's Lane, right?
Oh, that was a different time. It wasn't even when that.
I know I'm saying it wasn't then, but that was
That was different.
yeah, I'm saying that was the one fire that I remember though.
Yeah.
And I lived there for 14 years.
That was the only.
And it was
bad
only
fire
one
we've had.
side of the road, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I've lived here 28 years, and that is the only major fire we've had in the area. It was one side of the road, one small section. Like, wasn't that bad? Our bus drove through, like, down the street.
Yes, we did.
Flaming next to us. Like,
Yes, we
did.
did.
It wasn't that bad.
Which is why we're not a generation of pussies. Like, what's that? What? That's just a forest fire. Driving around like nothing's going on.
Exactly.
Was Ed our,
I
think Ed was our bus driver, right?
Ed.
There's Ed. Well, I don't give a fuck. Okay, Ed. Then he pissed off everybody that lived on Tunnel Road because he drove to Whitehaven and dropped us off first. We weren't on the bus for 2 hours a day. Man, did that piss people off.
Yep.
And it was nice after a 45+ minute ride in the morning to only have to be on the bus for about 12 minutes in the afternoon. Thank you, Ed. James Seen's grandfather. In case you didn't know, James Seen. There's a name you haven't heard in very, very, very 16 years since you heard his name. You know, in that whole
Yeah. Well, I have seen him once since then.
He's like a teacher now or something.
Right in at the grocery store once. It was
like, is that you?
Yeah.
Like
it's been so long. It's like,
and he's dressed like a normal person. So like, you're looking at him going,
trench coat is gone.
like what the happened to you? It's like when I look at Joe Kelly on Facebook, it's like,
did he get normal?
Well, he's bald now, which makes it even creepier.
Yes, he's had really long hair.
Dressed in normal clothes, working, like doing all kinds of good things. Like, I bought a motorcycle today. What the sports car? Like, are you the same guy that
happens to some people?
Are you the same guy that we used to play tic-tac-toe on your bicep? Was his forearm? We used to play tic-tac-toe on your giant, like, tic-tac-toe board. You carved into your arm. Like, it's the same guy. It is. Freaks me the fuck out. But all that stuff, like, it's so, like, there's, like, this is like yesterday continued. Like, there's just so much dumb shit. And then again, we're not, what, the Republicans are defunding the police.
Oh, yeah, that one. I'm sorry. Once I checked, Cori Bush praises historic vote to defund St. Louis police. Last time I checked, Cori Bush is a Democrat. It says over there in the headline, you know, and not to mention, you know, in that one article I read, the only notes I had were from it are actually from what it was about. But
hey, remember, they're not defunding, they're reimagining. God, I'm gonna get sued by those guys at some point. Damn it, Heather. I did that voice and talked like them way before Kevin and Keith decided they wanted to go and start talking like this. Damn it, I had it and they stole it.
Well, you didn't.
And they make good t-shirts
first, so you lose.
Hey.
Oh yeah, they do. I wore one of their shirts to one of my meetings the other day and got compliments. But
come on, man.
Article I read a while back about, you know, the one bill that didn't pass because here it is.
Come on, man, we got to be serious.
When Ken Calvert forgot to pass the proxy vote for John Carter.
He's useless too.
And
just saying.
Yeah, that one, you know, well, it did pass. There was that one. The interesting part about that article at the end wasn't about whether it passed or didn't pass based on, you know, these people's votes. What was interesting about it was the bill was to increase security at the Capitol and give the Capitol Police more money for their safety at the Capitol. And even after all her freaking drama, AOC didn't want to vote for it. And Talib and
let's talk about Rashida.
Omar
Ilham.
Go for it either.
Or Ian. I'm pretty sure that Hodge is called Ian Omar.
But you know,
They make me smile, Kevin. I'm having a bad day. I turn
Yeah.
on Keith and Kevin and I laugh. Wonder why? Because there's something wrong with those two. In the best
I
way
enjoy them.
possible.
Yes.
I sent a message.
But,
I sent a video to Drew. And he's it's all right.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
And it wasn't even on any of some of the stuff they do where you're going, they're gonna get in trouble. It wasn't even, it was on something really simple that no one could deny. Oh, yeah, it's all right. Carry on.
Well, Drew has no brain. But anyway, the thing is, the bill was going to, let them reinforce the doors and do like all this, helpful stuff to, make the Capitol more secure, and it was going to reimburse the National Guard for all the money they're owed for that time.
Which is pathetic that we even have to like reimburse.
There should not be a bill involved in that. They should have been paid.
You're the cocksuckers that kept them there for months.
Yeah. Yeah,
when there was actually zero existential or any kind of intel of any threat coming at all. None. As compared to Nancy impeaching Trump for inciting an insurrection, even though she turned down extra help because they knew it was coming beforehand. Anyway, carry on.
Yes. Point. When the squad members voted against it, it was, I believe, Tlaib that came out very publicly and said her reason for voting against it was because it was going to give funding to the Capitol Police, and she refuses to give funding to police officers. That's why she voted against it. But it's the Republicans that want to defund the police, not them. They don't want to do that.
And you know what the scary thing is? There's people like that fall for it,
Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. They really just all that crap.
Like if you actually like, here what I went over yesterday. Gone over it before. We have talked about it before. Follow along, people. I know this is going to hurt your heads. At least the simple-minded people. No offense. I love you all, but okay. She can back this up. Black people of all age groups make up 13% of the population. 6% of them are what? 16 to 40, 18 to 40, male demographic. And they commit like fucking 57% of violent crimes in the country. And that's just that age group. That doesn't include all of them. How the hell does 6% of the population commit over 50% of the violent crime? And somehow it's because of racism. No, it's because they live in shitholes run by Democrats. And that's all they, hell, like they committed, they're not getting profiled. Guess what? Ben Carson came from a shithole in Detroit, dyslexic, couldn't read. His mother made him read. Guess what? He's a world-renowned neurosurgeon. He got the hell out of there. He ran HUD for 4 years. How many people worked for Trump and were there for 4 years, except for goddamn Mike Pence because he couldn't get rid of him? No offense, Mike. God bless you and your pacemaker. Hopefully you don't die because you're a human being. And I do like people. No matter how much you talk about stupid people. I don't want any of you to die. At least
and let's not
prematurely.
He's the only man who's ever won a fight with a woman.
Yes. God bless him. That's the one meme I have not deleted. But look at all the athletes that came from Miami that played for the University of Miami, made millions in the NFL. Why? Liberty City, where they were literally rolling tanks down the street because it was such a shithole. How many of them are millionaires and did better for themselves? LeBron, even though he'll never say it because he's just a waste of skin. There, I'll say that about him. He's a waste of skin. Kobe is looking down going, what a pile of shit to take my crown. Guess what? You bust your ass, you can get out of anything. Saying, well, that's all they have around them. There's millions of people that have gotten out of those situations because they actually tried. Just because you're a lazy ass and you fell into it and didn't try to excel at anything besides being a scumbag. That's not on us. That's on you. Guess what? We came from a shithole. No offense. I want to move back to that shithole because most of the shit has died off.
Yeah.
No offense to them.
As much as I hate to admit it, Loki did a pretty good job.
Yep. But look at you. Shows. Look at Meg. money. Look at me, 2 houses, an ex-wife, 2 shows, should be 3 or 4, but I just put them all together in one because I'm a lazy ass and I don't want to make any more pages because that's more shit I have to deal with.
And considering
Spotify, all this
getting
stuff.
another one, right?
You could get the hell out of anything.
But
Look at White. Look at Jesus. Look at the
what's
stuff
he
he's
even
doing.
doing now? I haven't
Look,
seen him in forever.
I haven't seen it, but he's
He got
working.
out
Look,
of- he got out of town.
he's doing so much good stuff. That like he's working on the computers, doing all kinds of like you can get your dumb ass out of anything. Trust me, Whitehaven, it's not a biggest shithole, but there's drunks and there's drugs. And most people, if you didn't get out, you were dead, except for Heather. Congratulations, you are the anomaly.
But I was a drunk. Well, I am a drunk. Well, that was sober drunk.
You will always be a drunk.
Yes.
No matter how much you recover, sadly,
Yes.
you are still in that category. But
But
that's
I
why I'm
got
drinking
sober.
for you.
I got better. Yes, I was.
And I'm just saying, they use that excuse. So it's proximity.
But-
You know how many millions of white people are near each other? Did you see how many people died from black on black crimes compared to white on black crimes? I mean, white on white.
Oh,
White on white is like here. Black on black is like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, you look at this vicious cycle that they have there. They try blaming segregation and Jim Crow. You're like, okay, that's been over for decades. It's been over longer than I've been alive. You can't keep blaming that at some point. Then they try blaming redlining, and you're like, okay, so that got people into crappy neighborhoods to begin with, but that's been over since the early 90s. Why aren't they starting to move out of those neighborhoods by now? And then they say, well, it's because living in those crappy neighborhoods, they have really crappy education, so they can't get good jobs or do anything productive with their lives because they're not well educated. And then you say, well, then how about we give them school choice or vouchers? And they're like, oh no, that's racist.
I'm sorry, Donald Trump did more for that community than anyone in office did right now.
Look at what they really need to do. If and there is a correlation between being well educated and crime rates going down, poorly educated crime rate goes up. So their school systems in these crappier neighborhoods and these poor neighborhoods are definitely part of the problem. But you look at the possible solutions to that. Give them school choice, give them vouchers, let people who choose to get better educations. And in the meantime, okay, why are those schools crappy? You say it's because they don't have enough funding. We throw more money at them, they still stay crappy. Well, maybe, okay, there are neighborhoods with really high crime rates. So any teacher that doesn't want to get shot walking to or from their car is obviously going to apply to work anywhere but there first. So they're really only getting the bottom of the barrel choices for teachers. So how's about we work on getting the crime rates down so that people who actually are good qualified teachers might actually apply for jobs there?
See,
well, and then they say, well, you have to get good education before you'll get the crime rates down. Well, that's why school vouchers. Let them start getting better education. In the meantime,
they need it desperately. And he had the Orange Godzilla Hitler had the greatest actions for actual Black Americans, like when it came to vouchers and school choice and
yeah, exactly. I mean, these are very important things. You need school choice. You need vouchers. You can't just if the schools that are in their neighborhoods are crappy, they need to go to better schools.
The school sucks, and he had the balls to say it.
And you can improve the schools. Just throwing money at them doesn't work because if it's not used properly, it's not going to do any good. And if people
never is.
And people who are actually good at their jobs don't want to apply there because they're afraid they're going to get shot in the ring to work, then you're only going to get people who are crappy at their jobs anyway.
And don't forget the unemployment right now, just in general, in most of these places, which are all have a D next to their name. What does that D stand for? Dickhead, doofus, dumbass, douche canoe, douche rocket. What does that D stand for? Democrat. See, I rambled on so long, I don't even know what the hell I was going to say there. But
their unemployment rates are
outrageous. Yeah, there you go.
Paying people more money to sit on their asses at home than to go to work.
And the $300 bonus per week. There's actually states suing their states people for not continuing the $300. Why everything's open up. You have no fucking excuse. You shouldn't be getting an extra $1,200 a month to sit on your dick and do nothing. You know what essential
Sure.
workers? You know what essential workers got? Here we go. Here's what I learned from COVID. You know what it means to be an essential worker? You're getting fucked. Because you had to work, and everyone else is getting an extra $1,200 a month just to sit on their ass on top of their unemployment. So they're probably making more extra than they ever were working. And like, of course, what I think Louisiana was the first Democrat governor to actually stop doing that, and all hell's breaking loose. Like, why? Go to work. It's over.
Exactly, it is.
With
And
it.
people don't want to accept it. People do not want to accept it. It's over. And now we've got all the. I saw a report this morning about some. Apparently, it's been around since like May of 2020, so it's not new. But they have new information about this strain that originated in
Delta.
California.
Delta.
Not the Delta strain.
Oh, there's another one?
The different one that apparently, yeah, I've been hearing about the Delta one for the last couple of weeks. But this one this morning, it was something that started with an E. And it apparently originated, the first time we recorded it was in California in May of 2020.
Shocker.
They're talking about the mutated protein spikes that are allowing it to circumvent any the vaccines and any natural immunity might have had from having COVID. I'm like, oh, great, so that's going to be the new scare. You know,
Yep.
the vaccines don't work on it. We do
where did
the
it-
booster shots that are designed for that strain.
And where did it come from? California. Hey, did you hear about that kid that died after 8-year-old, I think it was, that got his second booster and his heart inflamed and he died? I don't even think he was 8. I think he was younger than that. Got his second COVID shot, his heart inflamed and he died 2 days later. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know there's more deaths from just the COVID vaccinations than there have been from all the vaccinations from like the last century combined?
This morning, my
Decade,
TV, no, I think my TV was trying to save me from throwing something. It was trying to save itself from me throwing something at it. All I heard, I was upstairs bagging my laundry, and I come back down just in time to hear, did you hear about the 1-year-old who got the, and my TV suddenly closed the program that was on.
Dead.
And went to the home screen. It was like,
And now here we go to get back to this.
if you don't want to hear what he's about to say, you will get pissed off.
And now we're still on that before we got to COVID, we're on the black thing. Here we go. I got numbers. I found them. Okay, 2016. Blacks. It's racist as hell, but that's what they want to be called now. They're black. They're not African American. They're black. Which is why I wish they would stop changing that because it confuses me. But you know, whatever. Blacks are 13% of population, but commit 77% of violent crime. Hold on. Commit crime at 3 times the rate of whites in the US and the UK. And now we'll get into one of the bigger problems of the black community, which is why they all fall into crime and stupid. 72% of black pregnancies result in low-income single-parent households. Why? Because you get more money for welfare if it's a single-parent home. Hold on, I'm nowhere near. Blacks, then we're going back to crime. 55.9% of homicide offenders are black. 44.1% white. 3 other and unknown. So you got to watch out for those black and white people. We kill everybody. Asians, Hispanics, all what? 3%. But blacks and whites, we just killing people. That's what we do. Homicide victims, 54.7% black, 42% white, 3.1% other. Apparently, they die at the same rate that they kill people, which is actually kind of terrifying. Okay, but here's the big one, though. Here's the great one. 354,871 abortions, in the U.S. 6,824 a week. Adoption referrals, 2,667. Ratio of adoption referrals to abortions, 1 per 133. 33.8% were non-Hispanic blacks. Howdy ho, neighbor. Get out of here, thing. Get out of here. Get out of here. No one likes you, Daisy. Get out of here. Yeah, I showed you the bowl, you freak. She ate 3/4 of it in one sitting. It hasn't ate since. Love you, bye. Non-Hispanic blacks per year estimate 134,850. That's 369 per day, 15 an hour. Then 2018. Here's adoption rates on 38.7% of them were white. 6.3 per 1,000 white women, or whatever they want to be called today, because the world's fucking idiot. 100 abortions per live birth. Blacks, 33.6% of them were from black women, which, by the way, for the amount of 38.7 compared to how high we are compared to them population-wise, to only be down by 5.1% is terrifying. But these are the numbers: 21.2 per thousand compared to 6.3 per thousand for white women, 335 per live birth compared to our 100. Hispanics 20%, 10.9 per thousand, 158 per live birth, which is still not bad. Other, sorry if you're not black, white, or Hispanic, you're just other. Sorry, I don't make it up. 7.7%, 11.9 per thousand, 213 per live birth. Single familyness and abortion rates also seem to be really high in the same places where crime seems to flounder, because you get more money on welfare because they actually made that law back in the day. Single family parents get more money, so there's no father in the household. And that makes it all even worse. I'm pretty sure I even heard Denzel Washington say that he had a bunch of friends that he hung out with, and what kept him out of prison, because all the rest of them went, because he had a father telling him to stop being such an asshole.
That's exactly what Denzel said. And, you know, that's,
He didn't say asshole, but
yeah. But when you bring up, you know, successful people like Denzel Washington and
Morgan Freeman.
like, yeah, like Morgan
Do you want a
Freeman,
White History Month? No. Why the hell do I want Black History Month?
Yeah, exactly. He said, you know,
We're all people, motherfucker.
He says, you know what makes racism real? Talking about it. Just not talking about it and go away. This doesn't exist.
Right. It's not a real thing. It does not exist. Trust me, I was alive when there was racism. It's not here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. There was real racism, and there are.
There's always going to be idiots.
Like,
there's always going to be idiots. I'm not going to.
Exactly.
There's always idiots.
But systemic racism, we did away with Jim Crow. We did away with redlining. We did away with all the laws that were holding blacks apart and separate from whites. They have all the rights we do now. We have affirmative action for them now. We have anti-discrimination laws now that are not just about, you know, race, but also about, you know, gender and religion and all that. We have anti-discrimination laws in place.
Hey, Heather. If they're talking about a systemically racist system, hold on, I can't quite figure, who was it? I think it was 1994. Yeah. Could have been 92. I just tried not to associate anything that stupid with the year you were born. Just out of, yeah. Who was it? Yeah. Who was the one that wrote and sponsored that bill that called black people supreme predators with no conscience? Hold on, who was that?
Joe Biden.
Correct. For all my wrestling fans.
Our esteemed former vice president.
Who was it that said you can't go into a 7-Eleven without having a slight Middle Eastern accent? I'm not kidding. Who was that?
It couldn't be Joe Biden.
Who was the guy that fought against desegregating schools because he didn't want his kids to go to a, quote, racial jungle? Who was that?
Again, I believe that was Joe Biden.
Who was that guy who had the same hair he does now, but it was a darker color then? That said his best friend and mentor was the former Klansman who he helped filibuster the Civil Rights Act to try to keep them to not be even human beings, pretty much. Who was that?
Again, Joe Biden comes to mind. You know, when he eulogized.
Here you go. Yeah, he did the eulogy of him. Now, hold on. If you ain't, you got to think you're going to vote for him or vote for me, then you ain't black. Hold on, who was that?
Yes, the old white guy that wants to take away your black card. Would be, again, Joe Biden.
Damn.
But that man's not racist.
Here's one for Ron Simmons. This one's
There's
for
no
Ron.
evidence whatsoever of him being racist at all.
Here's one for Ron. Here's one for Ron. Damn. Yeah. Thank you, and APA.
What about, you know, let's not forget, poor kids are just as bright as white kids.
I think that was Joe Biden.
And let's not forget the wonderful those, but not, they don't all just be out in the urban communities and, amongst the Black communities and Hispanics. They don't know how to get online.
Pretty sure that was Joe Biden.
But there's absolutely no evidence of that man's racist. Not at all.
Because Black people don't know how to use the internet. Apparently, y'all are too dumb to go, wait for it. Here, I'll do it. See if you guys can hear this. Internet.
Oh. And of course, that's the same reason why voter ID is racist, because Black people don't know how to get a driver's license or a photo ID card.
Hey, Heather. When you go, let's say, like, I'm not trying to throw everything out there, but here you go. Not to sound like a dick, but when you try to apply for, let's say, an apartment or a loan or Social Security, disability, food stamps, welfare, you need to buy cigarettes, you want to buy alcohol, you want to do anything, you want to get on an airplane, you want to make sure that the person you're actually going to a movie with is old enough and related to you, because they you want to buy certain like movies, like you want to do anything. What the fuck is that thing you need to have?
An ID.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a driver's license. You don't have to know how to drive this day, but you do have to at least have a photo ID card of some kind. Yes.
That's the face you make when they're all, hey, you'll get it in 3 to 4 weeks in the mail.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah, I have one of those too. And even my best friend, who has never had a driver's license before in his life, does have a photo ID card. Yes.
I don't know why, because I was on all kinds of meds and they were changing them all up, and it was easier to just do it this way and renew it that way instead of like keep just continuing the thing, because I can go get it again now that they figured out my meds and I got over getting run over. But yeah, because the voter ID is that's racist. So does that mean that you needing an ID? Does that mean me getting carded when I try to buy myself some delicious, not really delicious, when I try to buy myself frosty beverages? Does that mean Walmart's being racist? Because they card my white ass? Just curious. Apparently,
Walmart in North Carolina carded me to buy Harry Potter movies when I was down at the stand, because
that's why.
Barely PG-13.
That's why.
Carding there.
That's why. You were with the Antichrist, the Satan. Then we went to Sam's Club before you hung out, when you were hanging out with your brother and became an alcoholic in one fell swoop. Amazing how that happened. Like, hang out with me next week, sober. See, hang out with me, AA. I don't know what it is. People like to do that, but I don't think you got carded down here for that. Which is amazing. You got carded. You got carded with the Antichrist to buy Harry Potter, but you bought a case of Yingling with a big shit-eating grin on your face. But that's for that, like Guinness, whatever the hell. You got carded with a shit-eating grin on your face. Like, this is the biggest case. What? Bigger than anything I can get in Whitehaven. Huh. Wow. For that price? What? Give me it. And
even had my red wine in cases instead of just by the bottle.
Guess what? You needed an ID, but voter ID is racist. Nah, you're just stupid.
Exactly. So you just think if you call it racist, people will glom onto that trigger word and vote against it.
Yeah, like one time, the last time me and Drew actually said words to each other that weren't about wrestling, because he doesn't talk to me anymore. Drew. It's going to be my favorite thing now. Just going to pull that in there. And it was about the Georgia voting thing. But it is racist. And I was like, apparently you didn't read it. But then he responded, well, apparently you didn't read it. Like, why? Because they limited, like, they actually added drop boxes. They just made sure they were actually outside, like, county voting places. They weren't just in the middle of nowhere. They actually gave you more days to vote early. Holy shit, they just want you to have an ID card to prove that you actually are you. Son of a
Yeah.
fuck, you only need that to do everything else in your life except
Exactly.
if you want to
You
get
can't
on
rent a hotel
Zoom,
room, you can't- Yeah.
if you want to get on Zoom, but guess what? Even if you're going to buy something online and you get your checks handed to you in cash, you want to go cash those motherfuckers so you can spend the money. Guess what? You need an ID before they'll cash the fucking thing. You need an ID for everything.
Yeah,
So
you need
why
an
the
ID
hell
to
is
open a bank account? You need an ID to rent a hotel room. You need an ID to buy cigarettes, to buy alcohol, to get like everyday things. All the time. You constantly need your ID.
You don't need an ID to do? You should
Sit
be
on
able
your
to,
ass?
no, you should be able to guess this one. You don't need an ID to go
Fuck yourself.
fuck yourself. Don't need an ID to do that unless you're going into an adult entertainment facility, like the one in the like the one in the Boondock Saints, where Ron Jeremy got shot up. Then you need an ID to prove you're old enough before they'll let you in there. Probably not in most of them. It's just like, go do whatever the hell you want, leave us alone. But that's the only thing.
The one time I was in
You can go yourself without an ID. But otherwise, I'm still trying to figure out how that's racist. And he was defending it. Anyway, it's racist. It was only 38 pages, I think. What? Actually, not bad. It extended days, and it gave them the opportunity to even extend early voting for a certain portion on Sundays, which they weren't doing at all. So they could have more opportunity for people to get in there and early vote.
Bible belty, so they don't
Yeah,
really do
like their Bible, like same thing we do here. Yeah. Like they were Monday through Saturday. Saturday had less hours, but Sunday, I'm pretty like had nothing. Which again, Bible Belt. Give them the option if they want to have it open, and people are willing to do it, then do it. But again, Bible Belt.
Yeah.
If you live up north, you'll never get it.
You're not going to do that.
If you live up north, you'll never understand. Like, but Bible Belt.
Even us here, like we have like how many churches in town? Like what, 3, 4, something like that. But it's up opened in the after, like something like that. If it's still open in the afternoon, it would still get voters because after services, like the diner gets packed after services.
Yeah, diner gets packed. Everywhere down here, Taco Bell gets packed. Grocery stores, like that's why I used to go and get my haircut. Yeah. I was sitting there waiting for my barber to get my haircut. Like what? Hurry up. Clear across town. Like why? I know what's going to happen in about an hour traffic wise. So if I'm here, I'm home before it gets stupid.
Yeah, that's it. If they opened up early voting at like 9 a.m., probably not getting anybody, especially on the Bible Belt. But
very few people are going to be.
You're getting a line.
Yeah, even if you're not in the Bible Belt, just because of the facilities that they
you have like a lot of churches.
Yeah, just for the facilities that they use for early voting. I mean, there's a lot of places, like I don't know what they do in Whitehaven anymore, but I know churches there's the big church across from the townhouse. You were at the townhouse, right?
Yeah.
The big ass Baptist church, it's not a Baptist church anymore, but that was a voting facility. Like, so they opened it up. So they opened it up for certain days to, do the early, but there were some days where they couldn't, but they still opened it up to have the opportunity to go in there.
Yeah, obviously, if your church is your voting place, you can't have early voting on a day when you have mass.
Yeah, like so I'm saying, like they still even made a way to have them still be able, like when I did primaries, I was in a church, like they didn't shut down, like they just cordoned off a part of the building, like on the backside, they closed off one of the rooms. Here you go. And they let everyone vote during that. And then early voting, they closed down some of it, like they made it, but again, we were during COVID, so like there was less, but I mean,
less shut down anyway.
Again, Georgia, and then they actually gave you more days. They made drop boxes actually legal as long as they're in certain places. They got rid of ballot harvesting, which shouldn't be a fucking thing anyway.
Exactly, it shouldn't be.
I don't see what's racist about it. They want signature verification and ID verification. And then I had an argument.
That's not racist.
And then I had an argument.
Black people's votes aren't getting stolen by illegal immigrants coming in pretending that they're them.
And I had that conversation. I had that conversation with. Well, I had to verify my ID when I was there in person. Like, yes, cocksucker. but the state of Pennsylvania made it during this election. You don't need to have signature verification on all those absentee and mail-in ballots. Sorry, all those mail-in ballots, because they weren't even absentee. They were mail-in ballots. Here, take it. Like, I'm sorry, but there was no verification on millions of ballots in the state. Well, they did it in person.
Yeah,
Yes, you stupid fuck. They still did it there. They
But
took
in
that. You
person-
didn't have to do it there
But
for mail-in.
in
So anyone
person-
could have done anything.
in person, they only check your ID the first time you come to that voting location.
I didn't get no signature shit. Like,
My-
they didn't want to see my ID. I had to
yeah.
show them it because they couldn't figure out how to spell my name. There's like my mask, their mask, the plexiglass of which
Well, see, we didn't.
they didn't verify my signature. I
They
didn't
don't
verify
check
shit.
nothing now. It's so the very first time that I voted, I had to show my ID.
Like a real American.
First time, it was my first time in my locality, and
In your
at my
defense,
location,
you're
I
in
was just
Whitehaven.
registered.
Who the hell is going to show up to Whitehaven to cheat in an election?
Especially at the time I show up, I'm there like as soon as they open the freaking
Yeah,
doors.
because no one, like,
So
you know how many
setting
people
up all the way
drive
to go
by?
get the flag.
You know how many people drive by and don't even realize that Whitehaven is
You
there?
guys just be counting?
What the hell?
Motherfucker.
I know you are, but what am I? It's okay. We could do this like this the rest of the time. She vanished again. But yeah, moral of the story, people, like, because we're just having technical just snafus every 5 seconds because it's just never ending. How the hell is that illegal? Like, how is that racist? How is that anything? Like, they want you to have an actual ID to do it. Like, you need an ID to do everything else. You need a special ID just to get on airplanes in most places. To buy liquor, to buy tobacco, to buy any guns. Can't believe we didn't mention guns. Like, how the hell is requiring voter ID and signature verification racist? Like, how? I don't understand. Maybe I'm just a simple-minded fool, but you need an ID to do everything else. So anyone that tries to tell you that voter ID is racist is an idiot. Like, a complete and utter idiot. Like, that's a real thing. Like, you're stupid. Just need an ID to do everything else. So how the hell is it suddenly racist because you need one to vote? Like, that's stupid. That's really, really, really stupid. I don't get it. I don't know why I had so many arguments with people like on this, my personal life, friends, family, like people I consider family. Like, how? I don't get it. Just because we want you to have an ID. Like, that's another big topic that happened, and they're still bringing up, and there's 200,000 ballots short from what they counted on election night in Arizona compared to what they have now, which means something's screwy because no matter what, there's still a ballot. Like, there's shady stuff that happened the whole time. And yet here we are. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what the hell. I don't understand. But now that she vanished, because I think something died, I'm just happy the power didn't go out on me for a third time. This is why this is so long, because we were on a roll and then it stopped. And then while we were waiting because of Elsa, well, here we are again this much later. But remember to check out her stuff, the H Ski Show. Look it up, find it. I know it's on Spotify and Anchor. Please, she needs the support. She needs the help. Don't forget to follow along on me, whether you're listening to this, watching the videos. Go out and share it. Like, even if you're listening to it, share it on your social media so other people can see it. It helps you. It helps me. It helps everybody. I think I do a good job. I think I've tried to do the best I can for all of you. You everyone, actual thoughts and real things. Follow along, Jesse Rucinski Show again. Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Overcast, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's there. Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Yeah, but it's gonna go on Instagram soon. But check it all out. Like, I really please check it all out. Give us both follows, give us both likes, share it out, because sharing is the big thing that helps both of us. Yeah, free advertisement is the best advertisement. It gets more eyeballs on it. And give us more topics, comment on it. Tell us what you think. Tell me what you think. Tell her what you think. That's what the comments are there for. But please, for the love of God, share it out. I appreciate y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed our conversation. Sorry it was a little broken up because of the storm. Because Elsa, it's just like it didn't even get that bad here. Like, I went outside as the power went out and it was barely sprinkling. So I don't know what the hell happened. All my lines are underground, but it happened. These things happen. But We kept going. We got along. It was a long one. I appreciate you listening. Sorry for how long it went, but I love all of you. She does too. We appreciate all the support that you guys give us, because you don't have to. So please share it out. And we'll get back at this again tomorrow. I will be back. Back on schedule, boys and girls. Not getting rid of me. So share it out, like, follow me along on all the platforms. That helps me more than anything. Comment, tell me what you think. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. If you're in Elsa's way and it's causing you chaos, please stay safe. And until next time, my friends, peace.